Hello everyone, this is part 13 of What If Naruto Was Iron Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
It has been 2 weeks since the Great Naruto Bridge was officially opened and a few merchants have crossed it, bringing with them the supplies for the hospital and other things like food, cloths, paints, wood, and nails. With the land cleared for the hospital, construction for it began immediately and the basement had already been made as a place to put items that could be destroyed by the weather. Naruto kept his word and sent a message to the Lord of Water and got his reply, and the Raikage and Ichigo both stayed for the entire week to hear the people's decision, in which time Ichigo taught Naruto some of their family ice jutsu, though Naruto were weaker. Seeing this brought some new training for Naruto. Flashback. Naruto stood panting on the water of the river where he fought Kisame as the river melted from ice back into normal water. Ichigo said, "That's enough, Naruto. I see what your problem is. You're not actually using your bloodline. You're using the two separate elements and forcing them together, and when they meet they do form ice, but it is weaker since they are trying to overpower each other." Naruto said, "Then what should I do? I don't understand how to use my bloodline." Ichigo back-flipped from the standing position he was in, and in the place he was there was now an ice sculpture of him, and he said, "That is Ice Doppelganger. Did you feel how I molded the chakra for it?" Naruto said, "Actually, no." Ichigo said, "Because I didn't. You need mind and body for our bloodline to work, and you got the body part right, but you're not getting the mind part. You're trying to control everything and it doesn't work that way. Our bloodline actually molds the elements for us. You explained to me your separate trainings to increase your water element to get it closer to your wind element, which is good because that is what you needed to do, but now you need to have your mind learn to let your bloodline control it. Have you learned meditation yet?" Naruto said, "Yeah. I got one whole side of my body and a part of the other." Ichigo said, "All right, you start at your heart and follow the path of your chakra from there, right?" Naruto nods and Ichigo said, "Did you meditate on your elements yet?" Naruto blinked and asked, "What?" Ichigo said, "Thought so. There is why you are having so much trouble. Someone told you how to increase your individual elemental, but they didn't tell you how to control them. Think of your chakra control. The more chakra you get, the more you have to work to keep your control. If you don't do the control exercises, your control will get worse and get to the point you won't be able to even use them except through raw power, which is why ninja often tire themselves out with flashy jutsu when others can do the same jutsu and not be so tired." Naruto looked shocked and asked, "Well, how do I control them then?" Ichigo said, "Close your eyes, Naruto." Naruto closed them and Ichigo said, "Now feel your body, don't think about anything but your own body. How does it feel?" Naruto opened his eyes and asked, "Huh?" Ichigo shook his head and sighed and said, "Wind cuts, fire burns, water flows, ice freeze, lightning crackles, and earth crumbles. Feel your body and tell me what you feel and where." Naruto closed his eyes and said, "I feel fire in my stomach." Ichigo said, "Kyuubi, go on." Naruto stood there for 10 minutes and Ichigo sat down resting his eyes, and Naruto said, "I feel around my whole body, but it feels like it gets hotter around my stomach and colder in my arms and legs, but I only feel the coldest around my toes or fingers." Ichigo smiled and said, "Yes, that is what I was expecting. Good job, Naruto," making Naruto look at him and ask, "Huh?" Ichigo said, "Your body has adapted to Kyuubi chakra in your stomach, so it heats up the center of your body. When working together, fire and wind become hotter, making it harder for you to control water and in turn ice. Now I said as long as fire and ice are working together they are hotter, but when they work against each other then they fight and fire is weakened but not defeated. What you're going to have to learn to do is get your wind element to stop working with fire and working with water. You've started that by forcing water and wind together, but that can only get you so far. Our bloodline requires us to be in harmony with ourselves to control it better. To do this you're going to have to help the ice at your fingers and toes to spread up toward your core. You do this by meditating like you do for your chakra control, but instead of following the path of chakra, follow the path of ice or the coldest parts you're found in your body. Concentrate on where you feel the coldest places and push it up toward where you are warm. When you do it, your bloodline will take the wind and water element and combine them to ice. At first it will be hard considering how old you are since this was learned usually at a young age, but once you push hard enough mentally to get the ice to spread it will be easier, but it takes time. This is also something you will have to do on your own. I can give you one clue that took me a while to understand, but it is the secret to truly mastering our bloodline. A person walking on a thin sheet of ice will fall through and drown in the water below. However, the person standing on a thick sheet of ice can travel much safer with a heavier load. I will write down all my ice jutsu to learn for your future children and you, but that is all I can do for you on your bloodline. It's something you mostly have to figure out on your own. Sorry. Naruto thought a moment and said, "It's alright. I learned more about my bloodline from you than I could ever hope for. I'll figure it out." With a small smile, Ichigo said, "How about we take a break and let you rest and I can tell you more about your mom?" Naruto smiled and said, "I would like that." End flashback. Naruto looked to his right and left and saw Jiraiya and Kakashi and stopped about a mile away from Konoha, making both men stop and look at him. Naruto took a deep breath and said, "I know I have been an ass to you both since we met in Water Country, and I know you both care for me if only for the connection to my father. I've had my fun running you both over the rapids with the way I've acted, but it's time I think we put things to rest. I'm willing to swallow my pride and be the better man here and act all decent to you both and Konoha. I care for the old man even though I felt hurt and betrayed by him. I do care for Konoha because it was where I was born and raised and my life was hell. But there were those who did make it better. There are those out there who had it worse than me. Who? I have no fucking idea, but I know there's no way I'm Kami personal whipping boy. I got precious people to make my life better. What I am trying to say is I am willing to put the past behind us and work for a better future. I won't join Konoha. But that doesn't mean I won't be allied with them, and right now Konoha needs all the allies it can get." Jiraiya said, "What about your speech about wanting front row seats to watch Konoha burn or joining Orochimaru or even Madara?" Naruto said, "Have you forgot what Orochimaru is like? I would need steel-plated armor boxes just to make sure my ass is safe," making Jiraiya bit his lip. Naruto said, "As for watching Konoha burn, if it meant even one of my precious people getting hurt, I would freeze hell to save Konoha. As long as my precious people live there, then I will protect it the best I can. Then there's Madara. I will kill him. While I hate some of the people of Konoha, my hatred for him is 1,000,000 times more powerful. He sent Kyuubi to attack Konoha, he used the people of water to kill the bloodlines that killed the rest of my family besides Ichigo, he the one who hurt Lila brother, he's the one who killed the Shodime Hokage, and he's the one who is hunting those like me and hurting anyone who gets in their way. I'd become Orochimaru bitch long before I ever joined Madara, and I'm straight. And a little to the left." Jiraiya giggled and Kakashi said, "With ladies like yours I would say so. How exactly did you get him to fall in love with you exactly?" Naruto said, "Oh that. It's my boyish charm and my tragic past. Women love men who are broken inside. They have an maternal desire to mend the broken spirit. At least that's the bullshit answer the women give me. I don't understand women any better than any other man." Jiraiya said, "So what are you going to do exactly? I mean with Konoha?" Naruto said, "Well, first I'm going to get resupplied at a weapon shop and get some new cloths. Mine are getting a little small and tight. After that I'm going to see the old man and then the council and go from there. I want to look respectable for that meeting, so if you don't mind, once we get to Konoha, can I get you both to report to the Hokage? I will report to him after I get my cloths and supplies, but that will take a while since I need it customized." Jiraiya said, "I don't know. We should take you to see Sensei first." Naruto said, "I'm going to the Wolf Claw weapon shop. The owner is named Dustin and he has a daughter who is again an on-guy team named Tenten. If you don't trust me not to run, then have her watch me while I am in her family shop and she can escort me to the Hokage office. Is that acceptable? But I am getting new cloths first." Jiraiya frowned and said, "Very well," as he began to walk toward Konoha. Naruto got into step and said, "You're quite Kakashi." Kakashi, who was reading his book, said, "You look like Sensei, have your mother's personality, but I have no idea where you got the brains you have with what you pulled off." Naruto smiled as they walked and said, "Well, when I was asked to take over as the new Lord of Wave, I read the old Lord's entire library, which wasn't that big, only around 2,000 books, but it gave me a big help in dealing with diplomats. When I was in water country, Leela let me read some of her father's library on politics in the land of water as well as the rules to follow as a retainer of the emperor. Speaking of, has anyone ever actually met this emperor guy? I mean, I read all about him, but it never told who he was or where he lived or anything like that. Jiraiya said, there isn't one, or at least not anymore. That last emperor died on the field of battle a long time ago in a duel. Naruto said, but if that's true, then why? Jiraiya interrupted him and said, leadership, Naruto. Without leadership there would be chaos. Most people don't know there is no emperor. In fact, outside those deemed retainers of the emperor there is hardly anyone who knows this fact. I only found out because of a long night of drinking with a very old friend who let it slip in a drunken haze. If people found out there was no emperor, then they would doubt the leadership of the feudal lords who are supposed to have the backing of the emperor. If that happens, the people will revolt against the feudal lord, creating a power vacuum where anyone with a small army could claim they were the new emperor and cause an endless war until a new emperor rose to power, and how many innocent people would die in the meantime. That is why you should not throw around the name emperor so much, because if you do, then people will question who is he and where is he, which would result in more questions that will result in a spiral of death and destruction. Naruto frowned and said, I see. Jiraiya bit his lip and said, the thing is, kid, if you pull off what you think is going to happen, you could actually become the new emperor. Nobody in all my years has had as much political, military, and financial backing as you do right now. Naruto saw the gates and said, we should save this for more private times. Jiraiya nods and Naruto asked quietly, do you think my father would be proud of me? Jiraiya said, yeah, kid. You've done some amazing things and you're one hell of a leader. Kakashi said, I agree, as he closed his book. Naruto smiles and said, what the hell did you dipshits do this time? Trick some Chunin wannabe to steal kunai, Anko, and Yugito panties or something? The two at the gate looked at each other gaping and back at Naruto, and Kotetsu said, how did you know, Naruto? Naruto slapped his head as both Kakashi and Jiraiya burst out laughing, and Kotetsu said, welcome back, Naruto. It's been boring without you to liven the place up. Naruto said, well, I promise to shake things up while I'm here, but it's good to see you both. Is it alright if we enter? Kotetsu said, sure, Naruto, and welcome home. Naruto frowned and said, I'm not home, I'm just here to visit. As he walked past both men pulling his hood over his head, and he ignored the pair of Chunin guards who shot questioning looks at Jiraiya and Kakashi, who frowned, and Jiraiya said, let's go, Kakashi, I trust the kid to do as he said he would. As he left in a swirl of leaves followed by Kakashi. Kotetsu looked at his longtime friend and asked, what do you think that was about? And all he got was a shrug of the shoulders. Naruto walked through the village and saw a few people shooting questioning looks at him since they couldn't see who was under the cloak and hood and he wore. Naruto saw the wolf claw weapon shop and headed toward it. When he entered, Tenten looked at the person who walked in and said, welcome to the wolf claw weapon shop, what can I do for you? Naruto bit his lip and said, I need some cloths and weapons. Think you could look at them for me? Tenten said, sure, I'm always glad to help a customer. Naruto walked over and said, is your dad around? As he looked at the cloths on the rack. Tenten frowned and asked, he's picking up a shipment. How do you know my dad? Naruto said, I've been here before a long time ago, and so I know him and you from then, Tenten. Tenten said, I see. I'm sorry I don't remember you, though I can't see you very well with you hood up. Naruto chuckled and said, sorry about that. I just got back into the village and I'm trying to keep a low profile till I meet with the Hokage and the council. As you can see, my cloths are getting a little small and worn out. Can you do customizing? I mean, I know your shop does, but I mean, can you? Tenten glared and said, of course I can. What do you take me for? Naruto said, the best weapon user in the village, but that's just what I heard from rumors. I didn't know how good you were at working here is why I questioned, since I know how much training you would have to do to get a reputation as good as yours from what I hear. I thought trying to prove women can be as good or better than men would take most of your time. As he looked at her and she saw his face for the first time. Tenten cheeks blushed a little hearing the praise and acknowledgement of her dream and said, sorry. I thought you were saying I couldn't take care of things myself or calling me weak. Since you already know me, how about introducing yourself? Naruto smiled and said, for now just call me Naruto. Tenten thought a moment and asked, Naruto. Are you Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze? Naruto frowned and said, yeah, do you want me to leave since I heard the whole village knows now? as he looked at the door. Tenten said, "No, that's all right. I don't think you and the QB are the same. I deal with sealing a lot, so I know the difference between a scroll and a kunai." Naruto smiled and said, "Thanks. I told the Hokage before I left I thought you might since you seemed pretty smart when I met you before," as he found some black pants like the ones he had on but a little bigger, and he found a dark blue shirt and he looked at his vest and said, I'm sorry to ask and I know this is going to sound bad, but could you lock up the store?" Tenten narrowed her eyes and grabbed a kunai under the counter, keeping it hidden, and asked, "Why?" in a confused voice. Naruto said, "I got some things on my body I don't want to take the chance someone walks in and see it, and if you're going to customize the items I need then you're going to have to take measurements, which means me taking off my shirt so you can get accurate readings. I can pay you for any loss of business for the short time you need to measure me for my customizing fits." Tenten thought a moment and looked at the door and then the clock on the wall and said, "There is a seal in the back room that is used for security here. It makes it where anything placed in the seal can't move when it's active. If you're willing to stand in that seal I will lock up after you're in the seal. Since I don't remember you and don't know you I have to be safe in case this is a trap to steal from my shop or something. You understand, right? If you have a problem with that then we will wait until my father gets back in an hour." Naruto said, "I have no problem as long as you keep what you see a secret. I trust you and your dad since you both treated me as a person instead of the way most do, so if you say you won't tell anyone else what you see then we don't have a problem. I just don't like people finding out what you will see, it's personal." Tenten said, "Very well. Go on back and take your shirt off and stand in the black circle in the middle of the room. I have to activate it in here." Naruto nods and walked back, and after taking his shirt off stood in the circle before he raised his arms to the side and said, "Ready." Tenten heard him and she sent chakra into a seal under the counter and looked in the back and saw the seal active and Naruto in it, but had his back to her and said, "I'll be right there," as she walked over and locked the door. She walked back to the back and said, "So what is it that you are? What is that?" as she walked to his front and saw the power core in his chest. Naruto thought a moment and said, "Do you want the truth or a lie?" as he looked at her in a half joke. Tenten frowned as she glared at him and he said, "I guess you could say it was someone asking for forgiveness," as he looked sad. Tenten blinked and said, "What do you mean?" Naruto said, "It's something private and personal. Can you accept that? Perhaps someday I will tell you it. Just someone close to me died that was connected to this and I don't like remembering about it. I hope you understand." Tenten frowned and asked, "I understand and won't pry," as she finished her measurements and said, "All done. What do you need done now since I measured your upper body?" Naruto said, "I need a new vest for my scrolls and weapons. I need it made where it won't show this thing is there so I can keep it a secret to keep from telling others about it. As for why I told you, I have my reasons for trusting you with the truth like you have your reasons for agreeing to lock up so you could take the measurements," with a smile, and she bit her lip. Tenten left and Naruto was still stuck there, and she came back 10 minutes later and tried a vest on him and said, "Perfect fit, I'm good," as she unzipped it and put it with his pile of cloths before she walked out. Naruto felt he could move and he picked up his cloths and the ones he found and walked back out, and Tenten rang up his cloths and said, "That will be $14,000 total." Naruto handed her the money and said, "Do you mind if I get changed before I leave?" Tenten said, "Dressing room is over there." Naruto walked into it and changed and walked out, throwing his cloak and hood back on, and said, "Thanks again, Tenten. You don't know how much I appreciated this." Tenten frowned and said, "Is that all?" Naruto said, "Yeah." As he walked to the door and as he opened it he said, "Oh, by the way, I noticed someone's dropped a scroll in the dressing room when they changed. I thought you should know in case someone comes looking for it. I probably won't ever see you again since I'm only here on business. In case I don't ever see you or your dad again, I want to tell you both thank you for everything and goodbye," as he walked out of the door. After he was gone, Tenten thought, "I think that there was more to that thing in his chest than he let on," as she walked to the dressing room and frowned as she picked up a scroll and saw her name on it, and she opened the scroll and saw 3 seals, and she sent chakra into them and out popped a small silver bracelet, a heart-shaped silver locket and a small metal tube. Tenten reached for the items and then froze as she heard a voice behind her say, "Hello Tenten, my daughter." Tenten turned quickly and saw a hologram of her mother, and her mom said, "If you are seeing this then that means that I have passed away. I am sorry for not being there for you and your father. I miss you both dearly. I want you to know that I am very proud of you no matter what you have decided to do with your life. I know you will be a very beautiful woman as you get older. You do have me as a mother. As she gave a laugh that Tenten also gave as tears fell from her eyes. Her mom said, I want you to be happy with your life and enjoy each day and do your best. Take care of your father and raise a happy and healthy family with the man you truly love with your heart. Not because others expect you to or order you to. Do it for yourself. Be strong and show the world the woman you are. I won't tell you where this locket came from or where the other 2 items in the scroll came from. It's not important. I will tell you a little about the 2 other items though. The bracelet is a chakra shield. Every day it will take about as much chakra as a simple henge from you and charge itself, so the longer you go without using it the longer it will last, but you need to practice it. I don't know how long it will work, but it will create a 5 foot by 5 foot wall of chakra in front of you if you ever need it to protect yourself from anything. Just scream chakra shield and it will activate. And to turn it off, say off. As for the metal tube, it is a weapon. Hold it out to your side with the tube pointing up and down and send chakra into it and it will activate. Like the bracelet, it will take about as much chakra as a henge from you once a day and store it. To activate it, send chakra to it, and to shut it off, send another burst of chakra to it. I don't know how long it will last, so try both against attacks and without attacks so you can figure it out. This locket will not repeat the part about the items anymore, as it was only a one-time thing, so I hope you were listening, but inside the locket is a picture of me and the first part will repeat over and over again if you need to hear my voice or see me. This is all I could do though. I love you, my daughter. Goodbye. Tenten had tears in her eyes as she put the locket around her neck and slipped on the bracelet and felt a small chakra pull, and then held the tube and felt another pull. She activated both after a few moments and was shocked to see a silver shield and silver scythe appear. She deactivated both and thought, that was cool, but how did it get here? Could it have been from him? As she looked out the door where Naruto had left. Tenten bit her lip and thought, if he really did give this to me, then how did he get it and why give it to me? As she thought deeply. Just then Dustin walked in and saw Tenten looking deep in thought and asked, what's wrong, dear? Tenten looked at her dad and said, I need to ask you something, Dad. I don't know what to think, but have you ever seen these before? As she showed him the bracelet, locket, and the tube. When his eyes saw the tube he froze and asked, where did you get that? In a neutral voice. Tenten opened the locket and the recording played over, and Dustin looked down and said, I never knew your mom made that. Who gave you them, dear? I need to know. Tenten said, I think it was Naruto, but I'm not sure. He was the only customer we had while you were gone, and when he came out of the dressing room he said there was a scroll in there someone dropped. Dustin asked, who? Tenten said, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Dustin frowned and said, I see. When did he get back? Tenten said, I don't know, Dad, but he came in and got some cloths and got a vest customized. Dustin bit his lip and looked at the tube Tenten was holding and thought, I know that is the chakra scythe we made, but how did he get it? And said, well, can I see those 3 items while you go to your team practice? I want to make sure I can repair them in case they ever break, since they are irreplaceable. Tenten looked at the items and held onto the locket real tight in her hand and said, you will be careful with them, right, Dad? Dustin said, yes, dear, I know how much those mean to you. I just want to make sure I know how they work so I can show you, since I know how your mom does things and hides things in her work. Tenten thought a moment and slowly took off the locket and handed him all 3 items, and she looked at the clock and said, I'll be back later, Dad. Guy Sensei wanted us to work on our nighttime attack strategies for the Chunin exams coming up. Dustin nods and said, good luck, dear. As Tenten left and he looked at the items and waited a few minutes before he locked the door to the shop and walked to the back and sat down in a chair and looked at them for several minutes, and when he looked at the locket and opened it he waited until the locket started to play its message and said, Security Authorization Code Break, Delta, Sierra, 98,755 Tane. The message froze and Dustin said, Recognize identity, Dr. Dustin Shinron. The hologram said, Authorization confirmed. How can I help you today, Doctor? In Eva voice. Dustin frowned and said, Remote access to memory files. Give me a directory list of all files from the moment of activation. The hologram of his wife said, Yes, Doctor. Accessing. Accessing. Remote link activated. Downloading files. Download complete. Dustin said, Show me memory file directory. As he saw a list appear and his eyes went wide as he saw the first date of activation and thought, it can't be, that's in 2 weeks from now, and said, display activation files, as the room changed to the basement of his old house and he watched Naruto waking up with the suit. While this was happening, Naruto walked into the Hokage Tower pulling his hood off as he entered the building and up to the 3rd floor, passing several people who glanced at him, and when he got to the secretary desk by the Hokage office, the secretary said, "Hello Naruto. You're back." Naruto said, "Something like that. Jiraiya and Kakashi were supposed to come and get an appointment for me." The secretary said, "Yes, go on in." Naruto nods and walked to the door before knocking. A voice said, "Enter," and Naruto opened the door and saw the Sandaime Hokage sitting there with Jiraiya and Kakashi, who looked at each other, and the Sandaime said, "You're both dismissed." Both men left and Naruto closed the door and said, "Hello Hokage Dono." The Sandaime frowned and said, "Hello Naruto Dono," as he eyed Naruto and saw the ring on his finger, recognizing what it meant. Naruto followed his eyes and said, "I've been busy." The Sandaime said, "So I heard. So what can I do for the Lord of Wave?" Naruto said, "I wish to speak with the council about a trade agreement as well as a military agreement. I assume Jiraiya and Kakashi has informed you about the unification of Wave, Lightning, and Water, as well as what that means for the hidden villages." The Sandaime said, "Somewhat. I have already sent word for the council to gather, so it should be ready shortly." Naruto said, "There is one thing I want to ask before we go speak with the council. Were you able to get my mother's scrolls for me?" The Sandaime said, "Yes, I was, and I will retrieve them after the council meeting since I want to talk to you when we have more time." Naruto nods and the Sandaime said, "Yes. Let us go get this meeting out of the way." Naruto nods and the Sandaime got up and walked out of the room with Naruto beside him. When they walked into the council chamber, murmurs broke out when they saw Naruto walk in, and the Sandaime said, "Please be quiet and come to order. Allow me to introduce the Lord of Wave Country and the future unified country of Wave, Water, and Lightning, Naruto Namikaze," making everyone wide-eyed. Naruto said, "Thank you for the introduction Hokage Dono. It is a pleasure to meet with you all today," in a controlled voice. Hiashi said, "Pardon me Hokage-sama, but what exactly do you mean, the unified Wave, Water, and Lightning country?" Naruto said, "If I may Hokage Dono." The Sandaime said, "Yes, please Wave Dono." Naruto said, "To answer your question Hyuga-san, Wave country has become the world's largest economical country in the world. The Lord of Water, in order to strengthen his own country's economy by merging it with Wave through a political marriage between his daughter and me. Since I have a bloodline and the last who can pass it on, I have the right to marry several women, which I am doing. Leela, the daughter of the Lord of Water, is also the godine Mizukage, and as part of her agreement to this deal she has agreed to give Wave the military backing of her village," making several people murmur. Hiashi asked, "And Lightning country?" in a neutral tone. Naruto said, "Oh, Lightning is actually quite funny. You have the 2 elders right there to thank for that one," making everyone look at Koharu and Homaru. Koharu asked, "What nonsense is this?" looking confused. The Sandaime asked, "What do you mean Naruto?" as he eyed his 2 former teammates. Naruto pulled out a scroll and said, "Here is the scroll the elders sent to the Lord of Lightning country after the Kyuubi attack. It states that Kushina Uzumaki and her son both died in the Kyuubi attack. The Lord of Lightning country is Ichigo Uzumaki, elder brother to Kushina Uzumaki," making everyone look at him wide-eyed and then at the 2 elders. The Sandaime said, "May I see the scroll Naruto?" Naruto handed him the scroll and he began to read it and screamed, "Anbu," making a squad of Anbu appear. The Sandaime said, "Take Koharu and Homaru to prison and lock them away for the rest of their lives." Homaru asked, "On what charge?" The Sandaime said, "The deaths of several Konoha shinobi including Hiashi twin brother," making Hiashi wide-eyed and looked at them in anger. Hiashi stood up and slammed his fist on the table and said, "What do you mean my brother's death?" as he was glaring at the Hokage and the elders. Naruto said, "He means the fact my uncle was ready to force Lightning country to surrender the war unconditionally with Konoha in exchange for either me and my mother or either of us if one was alive and the other died. He just wanted his family and would have stopped the war that went on for another several years after the Kyuubi attack, meaning that your brother would not have had to die to save your life because they would not have been here to sign the treaty to kidnap your daughter if the 2 elders here would have let me go live with my family like I should have been allowed to." The elders frowned and Naruto looked at one of the Anbu members and thought, "Is that, it is. I'll deal with him later." Let Konoha deal with that headache for now. The Anbu nod and grabbed the two elders and left. The Sandaime said, please continue Naruto. Naruto said, very well. Now you are asking about the unification of Lightning Country. The previous Lord of Lightning was married to the sister of the Godime Raikage, not the Yondaime who was in charge during the attempted kidnapping on your bloodline Hyuga-san. The current Raikage has no interest in your bloodline. Hiashi said, I find that hard to believe. Naruto said, why should he steal it when he already has it, making everyone wide-eyed. Hiashi said, you lie. Naruto said, one of the new 7 swordsmen of the mist has a transplanted Hyuga eye given to him after he saved the life of one of the main branch members of your clan as payment for losing his eye. He was given 2 sets of Hyuga eyes in a scroll. One set was from a female branch member who refused to do the bidding of the main branch member, and the second set came from the man who tried to kill the main branch member who was torturing the female branch member to do his bidding, which was his wife. As the last form of punishment the main branch member did before they died was remove their eyes and let them slowly bleed to death from their eye sockets after the member of the 7 swordsmen disabled the attacker when the main branch member was screaming for help while being beat down, with a glare at Hiashi who frowned. Hiashi said, what proof do you have? Naruto said, I have the female's branch member's eyes in a scroll on me, making everyone shock and a few turn green. Hiashi said, I demand them back. Naruto said, what are you offering for them? Hiashi glared and said, how dare you? Naruto said, well, I can see we're not going to get anywhere Hokage Dono. I suppose I will go see Suna and Iwa and see if they want these eyes, as he started toward the door. Hiashi screamed, wait, before the Sandaime could. Naruto stopped and said, yes. Hiashi said, what do you want for them? Naruto said, I want 2 things from you. I want the Hyuga who cut these eyes out punished for the crimes that he committed and tried to commit, and I want a new seal created for your family. One that does not let one branch torture and kill members of the other branch when they refuse to let themselves be used as a sex toy, causing several people to go wide-eyed. Hiashi frowned and said, and where will this supposed seal come from? Naruto said, oh, I don't know. Maybe from one of the great seal master of Konoha like the Sandaime or Jiraiya or even Kakashi that you all brag about to other nations. I'm sure any of them would be more than happy to do something like design a new seal to unite your family, making a stronger Konoha and make it look like you don't support slavery like many think your family does. Besides, your oh so precious seal is already fucked because I only have the female's eyes. Mist has one eye in one of their nins and now Kumo has the other eye, all because of the ones the branch members are tortured to protect, and there is nothing anyone can do about it. I say within 10 years Kumo will have several children with the Hyuga bloodline, and in less than 30 years there will be an entire clan of them there. The main branch member thought no one would ever find out because the hidden mist village is so far away and isn't involved in the world much, so if you want to rant and be pissed about the loss of the secret to your clan, then blame yourself. Hiashi said, as lord of their lands you could order them to return those eyes. Naruto put his finger to his chin and said, oh, I know I could, and if those eyes had been gained by any other means besides the way they were then I would, but you see I am soon to be a family man myself with several lovely wives, and the thought of someone demanding sex from them and torturing them when they refuse just makes my blood boil enough that I would make what Kyubi did look like a walk in the park compared to what I would do. Rapists are one of the 10 things in this world I hate the most, and I've killed people before for even threatening to rape a woman. The fact I am sure the main branch member who cut out those eyes has most likely done it several times over the years, and you and the rest of your clan has done nothing to stop it makes it where I refuse to give you back those eyes. I bet that's why the elders of your council have been pushing you so hard to put one of your own daughters in the branch house. I mean, as heiress they would have to remain pure until they're married. I bet that man would love to help remove such innocence from them. Hiashi screamed, how dare you? Naruto screamed, truth hurts, doesn't it? Making everyone in the room shocked as Hiashi looked ready to have a heart attack as he looked so angry. Naruto waited a moment and said, you're angry at me for revealing all this, but you're more angry at yourself because ever since your brother died you've been a bitch of your family council and have had to break your own daughter's spirit, and your own nephew you've had to treat as a slave. Grow a pair of balls and act like a man. Hiashi said, I should kill you where you stand. Naruto said, try it. I give you free shot Hyuga. If you can even shut down one of my chakra points I will give you the eyes of that girl for free, and if you kill me then nobody will pass judgment against you. Hiyashi took a few moments to calm himself and said, "If I attacked you then it would be declared war by your nations," with a glare. Naruto said, "Going to hide behind others, like father like daughter, I see where Hinata gets it from." Before anyone could react, Hiyashi was already in front of Naruto screaming, 2 palm, 4 palm, 8 palm, 16 palm, 32 palms, 64 palm strike. As he was panting after the attack and Naruto stood there and asked, "Is that all?" shocking everyone in the room. Hiyashi looked shocked and asked, "How? I hit you perfectly. You shouldn't be standing, let alone fine." Naruto said, "One of the many things I've learned while away. Now as you can see your strikes did nothing to me, but you know it took a lot of balls to strike me like you did, so why not use those balls and get the man who betrayed your clan?" Hiyashi frowned and said, "Very well, who is the man who betrayed my clan?" Naruto smirked and said, "The head of the Hyuga Council, Hyuga Sento. You understand now why I goaded you to take action. Now with the people here as witness that you have agreed to this, I will act on good faith and give you the scroll with the eyes, since you gave your word that you would get a new seal created and placed on your family. If you don't, then everyone here will know your word is worthless and never trust you or any Hyuga, and you will gain the reputation of nothing by layers instead of the reputation many others think of you as, a clan of peeping toms." Causing Hiyashi to turn bright red, and Naruto thought, so that's where Hinata got it. Like father like daughter indeed. As most of the council had different forms of snicker or outright laughing as Hiyashi retook his seat, trying to hold his dignity and pride that had been destroyed by Naruto. The Sandaime cleared his throat, though you could see by the crow's feet around his eyes he was laughing inside, and once everyone calmed down, Naruto said, "Now where was? Oh yes, after the previous Lord Death, his wife fell in love with my uncle because of the emotional support he gave her through her time of suffering, and he became the new Lord of Lightning. Now because of the laws of Kumo, my uncle is considered a member of the Raikage's clan. As such, since he has no children, the next Lord of Lightning is going to be his niece, which is the daughter of the Raikage. So the Lord of Lightning wants to have me in his life. Now that he knows I am alive, and the Raikage, after meeting me and seeing what type of person I am, as well as what is happening between the lands of water and wave, has offered his daughter to me as part of the trade agreement I was able to form with Lightning Country. And because she is next in line for the lordship of Lightning, it will mean a unification of our lands, and in hopes to protect his daughter and her family has agreed to give the backing of his village as well. So it has been agreed so that to maintain the balance of power between the 5 great shinobi villages, instead of unifying Kumo and Mist into one village which would be considered a threat to all the other nations, resulting in the next great shinobi war, a new village will be built and considered neutral ground by both villages. This new village, known as Arashi, will be built in Wave Country over the next 3 years before the wedding between myself and the ladies from Water and Lightning Country. So not to start a new war between the other nations, we are attempting to form a trade alliance with Konoha, the Land of Fire, and a military alliance with Konoha as well, offering you a chance to join this new village. So you can see that Arashi is not just becoming a forward outpost to attack you or cut off the link between you and Suna, and we also going to offer the same deal to Suna as well if I can get the Land of Wind and Suna to agree." The Sandaime said, "That would be a joint village of 4 of the 5 main villages." Naruto said, "Yeah, Iwa most likely would try to kill me the moment they hear my last name, regardless of who or what I am. However, to make sure Arashi is not considered a unification of 4 of the 5 nations and scare Iwa and some of the smaller nations, it will be a village of no more than 200 nins total, divided equally between each of the allied villages. It will be considered a neutral village, allowing a chance for cross-training and gaining of knowledge of your allies and enemies. I am already planning to create the world's most advanced hospital with the combined knowledge of each of the hidden villages that join, and with that should help increase the overall medical knowledge of each of the major villages as well, since some of the medics from here could learn the art of human puppetry from Suna. So if a person lost an arm, they could have it at least replaced with a puppet arm, so a ninja whose career would be over before could, after a little time learning to use his or her new arm, could go back into service. Then we have the hidden mist villages' knowledge of poisons and cures, Kumo body enhancement knowledge that makes them able to enhance their bones, muscle, and skin to withstand standard weapon strikes with less chance of piercing deep enough to hit a vital organ. And then there is Konoha knowledge of the chakra network and healing damage from chakra-based attacks. Combining that knowledge together, and you could raise the average age of a ninja from 23 years old to 35 or better, which would give you a chance to increase your ninja standard, since the number of qualified Junin to teach Genin would raise and you would be producing more Chunin level Genin than you do now. Murmurs broke out throughout the room and the Sandaime thought, that would be a definite bonus to join into a military alliance with Arashi. Well played. And asked, what about non-medical knowledge? Naruto said, that's the beauty of what I have in mind mostly for Arashi. I want it made up mostly of genin teams, making several people wide-eyed. Shibi asked, why genin teams? Naruto said, standard genin teams are 3 genin and 1 junin sensei. Now since you already have heard of the medical program that I wish to create that will give a chance for genin to get at least basic field medical knowledge which could save them or their teammates lives in the future since all genin will have to do at least 1 day a week mission helping around the hospital. Half day working with cleaning and maintenance and half a day in the library or classes learning from the chunin or junin medic nins and doctors and nurses that might come along to join such an advanced hospital. Wave is a small country so we won't have very many actual medical needs and 1 hospital would be enough for the entire country so a lot of time could be devoted to study. Now on top of that the one major problem with all genin teams is actual experience against different types of enemies. Now with 4 different villages who train and specialize in different things that would give them a chance to experience in a controlled environment things they could experience in the field that could cost them their lives. Then there is elemental training. Each village has ninja of elements there are hardly anyone to train them in. One of my primary elements is wind and besides myself in Konoha Asuma, the Sandaime son would have been the only person who could have trained me in that element so odds are I would have had to develop my other element before I could have a chance to learn my primary element and I am only one person. I am sure there are others who would slip through the cracks. In agreement to the idea of cross-training of medical knowledge, a cross-training of C rank or lower jutsu and elemental training is required also so 1 day a week a Junin can make an appointment for one of his students to have a half-day training in how to control their elements if it is not one specialized from their village so a genin could at least get the basics they need and a few low-level jutsu to aid them which would make them better ninja and would make them able to be of better use to their teams and home village after they left Arashi. Quote, the Sandaime smoked his pipe that he had pulled out during Naruto's speech and said, that is actually a very thought-out and logical point that would help several ninja who as you said fall through the cracks. What about actual field experience? Naruto said, Wave has all shipping to the island nations under our control. To ensure cargo ships and shipment of goods they would get C-rank guard missions where the only danger they would run into would be most likely bandits on the actual island nations themselves which would out of the way of actual ninja so until they were ready for higher level missions where they may meet an enemy ninja and if by chance they do meet an enemy ninja they do have a Junin sensei to help protect them while they use their knowledge as support to their sensei. This will give genin actual combat and mission experience, knowledge of at least basic medical knowledge, experience fighting different types of battle as well as a chance to learn the customs of other nations so if they were ever sent there for a mission after the rank of genin they would know not to waste water in sooner or don't wear white after certain days of the year which could be considered an insult to some countries to make them avoid your village for future business. Arashi will be a low-profile village doing minor missions so no other village will consider us a threat and with the backing off so many villages it would be a village that would not be wise to attack giving my people the protection from bandits or an occasional missing nin so my people will be safer. Protecting that which is precious to you is my goal as the people of Wave are my precious people which is why I am going to such great lengths to ensure their safety. The Sandaime said, very well. You have made a very honorable and memorable speech about why we would agree to a military backing of this new village. What exactly are the trading alliance benefits? Naruto pulled out a scroll and set it on the ground and began flashing through hand signs at Junin level speed raising several eyebrows and Naruto said, document duplication no jutsu. As the scroll turned from 1 to 50 and there were 3 puffs of smoke as 3 Kichibunshin appeared and they picked up the scrolls and began passing them to each member of the council. Onoiki said, interesting pair of jutsu. Naruto said, thanks, I learned Kichibunshin before I left Konoha and the other was a gift from my uncle. Both make the hassles of paperwork so much easier. With a smile. Naruto said, now if you don't mind Hokage-san I have had a very long trip and I am sure you all would like to look over the exact details of the agreement. There is no negotiations on this agreement. It is the same agreement I made with both Kumo and Mist and the same one I plan to make to Suna as well after the Chunin exams. The one I plan to give to the Lord of Fire has only a slightly higher tax rate in case of the requirement to hire ninja from another village to cover the cost of that mission since you have your own ninja to cover that cost. If you would excuse me I need to find a hotel to stay at. The Sandaime said, actually your old apartment is still ready. Naruto said, no offense Hokage-san, but my old apartment's been broken into enough when I lived here that everyone knows how to get in to hurt or assassinate me. I will find and pay for a hotel room since I don't trust some of the people of Konoha. A civilian asked, but we've changed, we know the truth and we don't hate you any longer. Naruto frowned and ki came off him enough to make the civilians freeze and the shinobi tense, and Naruto turned back at the man who spoke and said, that right there is the main reason I will never live in Konoha again. What was the difference from the person I was 10 minutes before the Sandaime revealed my parents to you and the person I was after he revealed it? Nothing. The people of this village made my life a living hell. The only reason I am even trying to be civil to you and the rest of the people in this village is because of the few WHO actually treated me nice and saw me as me. If those few people would have left with me, I would have joined IWA and raised in ranks until I lead an army here to destroy all those WHO wronged me. Make no mistake, I hate most of the people in this village and would dance on your graves after everything you did. But because of the few like the Sandaime and a few others, I am willing to make peace with the real demons of Konoha. Good day. As he left, slamming the door. After the key stopped, the civilians gasped and the Sandaime cleared his throat and said, I guess I should also mention that Naruto has already killed an S-rank missing nin, defeated the head of the Mist Village Anbu Black Ops and killed over 200 mercenaries, freeing the people of Wave from the control of a crime lord. He knows the Rasengan, one of his father's signature jutsu, as well as his own version he calls the Rasen Shuriken, which is a throne assassination jutsu, and he can create an army of over 400 all able to do those jutsu. He also holds the legendary sword Samehada. With those skills as well as the others that he knows including wind, water jutsu and several ice jutsu that work with his bloodline, I am placing Naruto as AA rank bordering S-level person in the bingo book. I hope the people of Konoha don't piss him off, or it will mean the destruction of our village from either him or his allies. He is right about one thing. What really did change about him before my announcement and after? Nothing. The people of Konoha ruined a prodigy because of their hate. At least this one is trying to work with us instead of destroy us like others have. A civilian member said, but he said he was going to join Iwa and destroy us. Chooser said, he said he would destroy us if it wasn't for the few who were actually nice to him. Idiots. As he grabbed the scroll and stood up and started to leave. The Sandaime said, we will meet here tomorrow to discuss the alliance proposal. I call this meeting to an end. As he got up and grabbed his scroll and left to read it as well as think over other matters. As Naruto left, he thought, thanks for all the info and the eyes Leela. That really busted them in the balls, and I could do something for Hinata as well. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.